Welcome back to another episode of Storytime, here in the vault with me, G-Star. As always, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss any channel content in the future. For today's story time, we go back to the subject of ufology and aliens. Now, you may be aware of the UFO crash in Roswell, New Mexico in 1947. You may also be aware of the Rendlesham Forest incident that happened in the 1980s. But this is the story. UFO crash in Missouri. Minister gives last rites to the aliens. In April 1941, a local sheriff visited Reverend William Huffman, a pastor of the Red Star Baptist Church in Cape Girardeau, on the banks of the Mississippi, Missouri. The sheriff asked the pastor to hold a service for the victims of a plane crash that had allegedly happened on the same day near the city. Huffman agreed and arrived at the crash site. The place was full of police officers, FBI agents, firefighters, military men, doctors, and there was debris of some kind of aircraft. First of all, Huffman was surprised to see the wreckage of the plane because it was totally different than the usual sort of airplane. He knew this from his experience of traveling in both military and passenger airplanes. Huffman had never seen anything like this. The object was metallic and shaped like a giant saucer. There were no seams or joints visible on it. Huffman tried looking inside the destroyed object through the huge hole that was on the outer surface of the object. He saw there was a small metal chair, some instruments and consoles with dials, and also many other things that he had never seen before, which it would be very difficult for him to describe. At some point, Huffman saw some strange inscriptions that resembled Egyptian hieroglyphs. Huffman went to 3 dead bodies lying on the ground near the object to give them last rites. When he saw the bodies closely, he was shocked because they were dead aliens, the size of small children. They had short, grey, hairless bodies and almond-shaped black eyes and looked like they were covered in a suit of aluminium foil. After performing the last rites for these alien creatures on this disturbing and dark evening, Reverend Huffman, along with all the personnel on site, like the firefighters, FBI agents, all were sworn to secrecy by the military personnel. So if they were sworn to secrecy, how does the world know the story of Reverend William Huffman and of the UFO crash in Missouri in 1941? Did Reverend Huffman break his silence of secrecy? No. We found out about the story of that fateful evening from Charlotte Mann, who was the granddaughter of the late Reverend William Huffman. Charlotte wrote some letters to an author named Leo Stringfield, who was an author in the UFO community. In those letters, she explains in 1984, Mrs. Huffman, the wife of Reverend Huffman, was dying of cancer. In her last few months, she told her granddaughter, Charlotte, about everything. She also said that her husband somehow managed to secretly take a photo of one of the dead aliens from an unknown man. According to Charlotte, at some point she had also seen that photo, but does not know why one day it disappeared. She contacted the ufologist Leonard Stringfield, who wrote about the incident in one of his books. When Stringfield heard this story, he began to dig for other possible witnesses who may have still been alive. He found the sheriff of Cape Girardeau that served at the time of the incident, and he confessed to him that everything Huffman's family said was true. He also managed to track down the alleged photograph, which Charlotte revealed. Ufologists Ryan Wood and Stan Friedman also investigated the case. To add to the mystery and allure that surrounds the UFO crash is the idea that additional evidence was covered up. Nothing stirs up controversy and attention more than alleged conspiracy and cover-ups. Enter Linda Wallace from Sikeston in Missouri. Sikeston, Missouri is a small town located nearby Cape Girardeau. According to Linda, her father worked for a company called Missouri Institute of Aeronautics in Sikeston when she was just a little girl. She believes her father may have had access to classified documents in regards to the alleged UFO crash. In her continued research of the incident, Linda has found that the Sikeston Fire Department, Police Department, and the local sheriff's office have no records of the crash of 1941 that happened mere miles from the town. However, on the other hand, Cape Girardeau Fire Department records detailing the date of the crash and confirming the account that the local military did swear the personnel to secrecy and also removed evidence of the crash from the site have been found. Did Reverend William Huffman serve the last rites to 3 dead aliens as a result of a UFO crash? Was he sworn to secrecy by the military? If he was, he certainly kept that secret, only ever telling his dear wife the full account of what happened on that mysterious and dark evening of 1941. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Storytime. Please let us know in comments what you thought of the story of Reverend William Huffman. Please join us again here on Storytime for more mysterious and thought-provoking stories. Good night.